Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, a quick hit podcast to get you ready for the day. Lots to talk about today. Some news in Steelers land with Najee Harris. Also going to talk a little bit about the Pirates, my column. A big homestand coming up, big series, big everything with the way the things have gone for the Pirates. The things have not gone well, and no changes ahead. What's up with that? But first, I want to remind you that we are brought to you, as always, by the North Shore Tavern. You don't have to be a baseball fan to love it there, but the interior, wall-to-wall Pirates, their appetizers, entrees, cocktails, and of course, steak and seafood on a sizzling lava stone. Open every day. The North Shore Tavern across from PNC Park is Pittsburgh's home for a steak on a stone. So we'll start football today because it's a little more timely. The Steelers declined the fifth-year option on Najee Harris. According to our Jerry Dulac, they want to wait and see how Harris and the other running backs perform before making a decision. In my opinion, completely reasonable. In today's NFL, you don't need to pay what it would cost to pick up the fifth-year option on Najee Harris. If he would have, wildly outperformed expectations or something like that, I suppose that makes sense. But I'm sorry, I'm just not paying that much for a back. They basically are replicating that production for cheaper with Jaylen Warren, and you wait and see. You're not over $6.79 million right now in the 2025 cap is what that would cost the Steelers. No, I just absolutely would not. I don't see why you would even consider that. It's one of multiple declined fifth-year options. Terrell Edmonds, Devin Bush, or other ones. Obviously, they picked up the fifth-year option on TJ Watt, but I like what the Steelers are doing in the running back room. I like what those backs will be able to do in Arthur Smith's offense. I don't even have an issue with potentially keeping Najee Harris around, a little bit longer, doing a different deal. But I just, right now, if you give me that decision, I need to commit $6.79 million to a running back. And I don't know what I'm going to get out of him. I don't love it. Maybe there's some interpersonal stuff there with Najee's comments at the end of the season about more discipline, how that sat with Mike Tomlin or other people. It's certainly not been the first time that he's been willing to speak his mind, good, bad, or indifferent. Personally, I like that. I wish more guys would do that. I'm eager to be around Najee Harris more. I think he's a fascinating guy, and some of the stuff he says and how he says it, great. I wouldn't think that has anything to do with it. It shouldn't, personally. I mean, to me, it should be between the white lines. But again, if it's between the white lines, I'm looking at things very objectively, and $6.79 million for a running back just doesn't make sense. You should be able to get someone, draft someone, sign somebody, otherwise acquire them, to do that. And maybe you just have one in Jaylen Warren. I think a lot of times last season, the Steelers offense was much more functional with Warren back there than it was with Najee Harris. So that was one Steelers story that was being kicked around today I wanted to react to. The other one was Justin Fields as a return man. I don't know if y'all saw this. Crazy. It was on Cam Hayward's Not Just Football podcast from the Steelers draft party over the weekend. Jaylen Warren was on there and said special teams coordinator Danny Smith suggested Fields returning kickoffs, the new kickoff rules. No, first off, similar to the option or the fifth-year option on Najee Harris, just absolutely not. I want Russell Wilson to play. I want him to be QB1. I think he will. I like the acquisition of Justin Fields. It's great insurance. We've seen in the past that having two quarterbacks is certainly not a bad thing. I'm not putting one of them back there for kickoff returns under any form or fashion. Just absolutely not. I can't, even a scenario where you're trying to make something happen. You want, get an exciting athlete back there. It's key moment in the game, whatever. Great. I'm not putting Justin Fields back there. It's not worth it. Not with Russell Wilson's age. And again, I actually think Russell Wilson's going to be fairly decent, but it's just, he's not young. Justin Fields could potentially matter to the future of the Steelers if Russell Wilson is not good, if Justin Fields is just way too important to be screwing around with something like that. So I think that's probably a consensus opinion. I haven't talked to anybody who has like this hot take that really thinks Justin Fields should be back there, but I thought it was interesting nonetheless that Jaylen Warren said that. He also said a couple other things that were kind of, I guess damning. It wasn't great. It's a night and day difference with their leadership, was one quote from Warren talking about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. They bring a lot. They help out, tell us how to run the routes. Not great for Kenny Pickett. Not that his stock was super high, but a night and day difference with their leadership compared to what the Steelers had. Great for now, bad for what the Steelers had previously. I really do like their quarterback room. As I said, no issues at all with Russ and maybe Justin Fields playing there. Very curious to see how it plays out. And I think it's going to be very, very good for the Steelers. So, all right, put that topic to bed. Let's transition a little bit to the Pirates. As odd as this sounds, with the Colorado Rockies coming in here this weekend, and Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim as well next week. And by the way, Cole Tucker plays for them. It's going to be an interesting story as he comes back to Pittsburgh. He's been up and down, has not had the greatest of luck. He's with the Angels now, but that's not my point here. With those teams coming into town, oddly enough, on May 3rd, the Pirates have a really crucial series / homestand. I don't like calling things must win at this point in the season, but you look at the Rockies, they're 7-24. The Angels are 11-20. The Rockies especially are just bad. And that sounds silly from somebody who covers the Pirates and follows the Pirates because they are bad right now too. But the Rockies somehow are worse. -75 run differential. I believe that's the second worst in Major League Baseball. ERA is just under 6. I think they've lost 5 in a row, 2-8 in their last 10. It's just very ugly. And if you can't hit the Rockies pitching staff, if you're the Pirates, that should be sounding some alarm. I mean, frankly, the alarm bell should be sounding right now. I'm not trying to gloss over that, but boy, is it going to be really bad. And think about the swing they have here too. And also the Angels, just to put a bow on that, but they know that Mike Trout's going to be out for a while. They have not been very good either. I think they lost 11 of 13 before tonight, something like that. I mean, it's been a struggle there too. So if you can't beat either of those two teams, you're going to tell me they come home after that awful trip to California, they lose 4 of 6. Think about how wide that gap's going to start to get. There's going to be a lot of vitriol. On the other hand, you could say, let's say they take 4 of 6, 5 of 6, perform really well in these first 2 series. You very easily could have Paul Skeens coming there, starting the opener against Chicago, and your season feels completely different than it does right now. To me, it's just a very, very big pivot point. And things have been bad lately. I wrote that in the column. I mean, some of the numbers are just staggering. They've lost 16 of 21, averaging 2.5 runs per game during that time, -41 run differential. This stat, I was texting with Andrew Destin about this because I almost couldn't believe it. I needed validation. Somebody else saw it. 2 for 36 on the road trip, 46 left on base. Whoo, buddy. I mean, they're working some walks, they're getting on base, but they are certainly not cashing in. And whether that's a lack of confidence, a lack of approach, probably all of the above, it's not great. And it really needs to change. Certainly some calls for Andy Haynes to be fired. I understand. I've gotten a lot of emails about, why are you letting Derek Shelton off the hook? Why are you, I don't know, not calling louder for Andy Haynes to be fired, something like that. I mean, they are at a very precarious position, I suppose. I know how they feel about the first quarter of the season and reacting to things right now. They don't want to really do anything inside of 40 games. My guess, based on what I know and understand about how they think about Haynes, the philosophy, all this stuff, who runs things, I would be really surprised to see them make a move at this point. I know that's not popular among Pirates fans, but if we're talking about reality, that's sort of how they're dealing. So what do you do at that point? I mean, they need to affect change in some way, I feel like, and I don't see what they're doing. I don't think they're going to be doing anything. If you look at the Indianapolis lineup on Thursday night, Ji-Hwan Bae played, Nick Gonzalez, Yasmani Grandal, Jake Lamb. A lot of times, if those guys are going to be making it to Pittsburgh and you have the opportunity to do it, you'd probably have them scratched and travel yesterday. They'd wake up in Pittsburgh on Friday, get ready for the series. I don't think you'd make them travel the day of game. I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't, but really surprising if they would go the route where they make them travel, the morning after a game, 5 hours, and then play that night, something like that. But it's surprising that they're not doing anything. Jared Triolo's hitting 217, 552 OPS. Henry Davis, 162, 486 OPS. Jack Sawinski, 168, 533 OPS. I mean, there's a lot of players that are just not producing. And I like Jared Triolo defensively. He's been excellent at second base. But you know what? Nick Gonzalez has been really good too. At some point, you got to take another look. I think Henry Davis should be commended for how well he's caught. But right now he looks like a mess at the plate. He needs to figure it out and maybe get away from what they're doing, the major league club. Jack Sawinski, too. I think very highly of Jack, but right now he looks lost. And I don't know how much longer you can stick with it. They're obviously going to stick with it longer than I probably would. As I wrote in the column, I think I'd probably come up with a phantom injury or something like that. And I would make a move just to show fans that, like, hey, we're not accepting this. Right now, they're rolling this out here, almost like they're okay with it. That's what they're telling us with their actions. Now, they're saying different things with their words, and I know inside they're tweaking things and looking at things and trying to affect change. Understand that. But people externally don't always understand that. And sometimes you need to, playing time is a precious commodity, right? You want to make a professional athlete pay attention, hit them in the playing time. And there's only so much you can do, yes. But when you have guys performing at AAA, I'd like to see them bring them up. Even if it's Jake Lamb, give him a shot. I know he's not on the roster, but screw it. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. I'll get off my soapbox. That's enough for me today. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of these videos and other videos from Post-Gazette columnists and beat writers. We'll be back here, same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.